Hi, I'm Jennifer, the traveling publisher. Did you know that it actually takes a village to create and publish a book? Most people are surprised to hear just how collaborative the publishing experience is. Writing might be solitary, but publishing is extremely collaborative. I am so happy today to have my friend and author, Patti Mobile, here today because she is the perfect person to talk about this topic. Hi, Patti, how are you?
I'm great. It's another beautiful day in Long Beach, and people are decorating for Halloween, and all the fall colors are starting to happen here. So it's
Oh, that
just
makes
wonderful.
Makes me so happy to hear. I'm thinking of the warmth out there. It's cold here in Pennsylvania already. So I'm so happy to hear you have some beautiful sunny weather in Long Beach. Well, I'm excited because we're going to talk about your two books in the context of how collaborative books are. So I wanted to just give a shout out about your awesome book called Excellence, which we're going to link to the description in the description here. And that is an environmental novel, which is fantastic. And then we also are currently working on your book called Lily Hills, and that will also be out soon. So let's talk a little bit about your book. So we met as you were writing your first book, Excellence. Back then, did you have any idea how closely we would be working together and how often we would be Zooming and collaborating?
You know, I met you at the Women in Publishing Conference in 2024, I think. Maybe it was 23.
Might have been 23. Yeah.
It was probably 23. You're right. And what I really, really And what it really impressed me was that you took the time to explain the entire process to me, the whole step by step process of what it's going to take to make my book idea come to life. And when you gave me the contract, all of those steps were all in there. And you gave me the option of selecting things that I could do for myself, like designing the book cover,
Mhm.
and things that I wanted you to work with me very collaboratively on because I did not have the experience, and I knew that from talking to you and talking to other publishers that you had the knowledge to help me do it very, very well.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you. Well, one thing that I think is so fascinating, you just touched on really beautifully, is that publishing is a really unique situation where it's a very formulaic process. I literally have a checklist that we go through. And so one would think, oh, it's just step and repeat, step and repeat. But somehow it's not. And I think it's because we're dealing with people and passions and projects. And so even though the process might be similar, every book is so different. And so, for example, in your case, you were exactly right. You came to me and you really wanted to do your cover. And can you hold that up, Patty? Because I love this cover.
Or is it in focus for you, or do I need to move it
Put it
around?
maybe a little bit more in front of your face, just temporarily. There we go. Now we can see it a little bit better. Maybe move it a little bit more again. Well, we're going to link it in the description. It's an awesome cover. Thank you, Patty. And so that was something that not all authors are able to do, but you were. And so I think it's neat that that's something flexibility I have at my company, Bright Communications, is we're able to say, you know what, yeah, we'd love to work with you on your cover. Another thing that you did was your book came to me very high level because you had already had another professional editor edit your book. Can you tell me a little bit about that process? How was that? How did that go? How did you find her?
I also found her at the WIP Summit.
I love the Whip Summit. Women in Publishing
Yes, I
Summit
mean, it
is
was
phenomenal.
so nice. There were, I think, 3,500 people attending that conference from all over the world. And the people who were speaking were so warm and friendly and knowledgeable. So the developmental edit was a very critical part of getting my book into publishing shape. I that was because it was my first book. It was very important that that was done and done well. And I was lucky enough to meet at the conference a developmental editor that lived in Long Beach.
Wow, that's incredible. So you went to a publishing conference that was international to meet an editor from your hometown. That's,
Right.
oh,
And
what a wonderful
that
world.
was fantastic because we could meet over coffee, and she could look at my chapters and help me to. She had a great tool that I used for Lily Hills, which was a spreadsheet that
Hmm.
had me list all of my chapters and who the main characters were and what the, you know, plot points were that were driving the story. And she helped me to see how to logically set it up so the story would flow and would culminate in the climax at the end, and how to wrap it all up. I mean, it was a great tool that I
Hmm.
stole because it was done on a spreadsheet, and I am a whiz with spreadsheets from my previous life as an analyst. And so that tool, I mean, once we worked with it, it was a fantastic tool for me to use to be able to do that to my own writing. And I can't thank her enough for giving me that tool.
Yeah, it was so successful. And then you passed that to me. And as a matter of fact, when you were writing Lily Hills, you and I went over it and it was really helpful. Another thing that you do, Patty, with great success is you communicate all information about your characters and a very detailed list. And that's really helpful. It's really helpful. Does that help you as you're writing as well? Keep everything straight?
Well, one of the weaknesses that my developmental editor pointed out in the first edit of my book, Excellence, was that I didn't really know my characters very well.
Oh, interesting.
So she talked to me, and this is also something that I learned in the WIP conference, was that what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Did they have any trauma growing up? Um, how did that trauma affect the person they came to be in your story?
Mhm.
And it also helped me to think about how those characters would react differently in different situations because of their backgrounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, character development and really understanding my characters and having them come to life in my head, the way they talk, the way they dress, what they look like, helped me to develop um, the book. And,
Absolutely.
you know, then I could convey that information to you, my publisher, about who these characters really are,
Mhm.
so that that time that I took to get to know them could help you to point out when you were working with me and my book, point out where something didn't seem to fit.
Right, exactly. And it created these very layered characters, these very complex characters that you feel like we know them in your books. And that came through in Excellence, and it also comes through in Lily Hills. So that's tremendous. Another thing you do, Patty, that it's a great success, I think, that a lot of authors I think are afraid to do is you use beta readers where you send your manuscript to people to read before you send it to me to even edit. I always wonder if maybe some authors are a little afraid to do that to show their work, but talk about you. Why do you do that? And has that helped you?
I do it because everyone has their own point of view.
Right.
And my writing is going to communicate better with certain people than it does with others. And especially because I'm a woman, I want always to have a male beta reader
Exactly.
because they will pick up on things that I may have missed. They will give me their opinion about the characters and who they like and who is, kind of shadowy to them. Maybe I could fill this character out a little bit. Um, some of my beta readers are very tuned into sequencing.
Mhm.
So they can suggest, oh, I think you should move this scene to before this happens or after this happens. And it's amazing what an impact that has
Hmm.
when you have readers that are sensitive to that.
Yes,
One
yes.
of my other beta readers is someone who is a very successful author who's published many books. She primarily writes thrillers and mysteries, but she is really attuned to what are the characters feeling in this moment.
Oh, very good.
And so if I'm running through the plot and I'm not dealing with the character development, that helps me to tune into, oh, what are the characters feeling now? How are they showing it? Are they saying anything that's telling people how they feel? Um, so the beta readers are critical to fine tuning your books. I mean, I don't know what I would do without one.
It's right. And it certainly shows because when you turn those books into me, they're already at a high level. And so I'd love to know, have you ever been a beta reader for other people? Is this sort of like something where people do reciprocal?
Yes, and especially my friend that's the thriller mystery writer,
Hmm.
she will give me sections of her book, which she's pretty much almost in the completion stage. And I will start looking at, what questions do I have? What does this character feel like? And then she might ask me, she'll give me several chapters and she'll say, um, I'm trying to write the book summary.
Oh,
So these are kind of critical chapters in the book, and I would like you to help me to develop the book summary for my book.
great.
So I do a lot of that because for my writer friends, I'm very detailed and very specific. So I can try to nail them down to stuff that this sounds kind of wishy-washy. Let's say this instead. And they really appreciate that.
Well, and you're outstanding at dialogue, writing dialogue. So I'm sure that you're really helpful for that. That's wonderful. And so you mentioned writer friends, and I just love that phrase. And I know that you're part of a writers group. Is that where some of the beta readers come from? Or
Yes, they do.
wonderful. And
And
so tell me about it.
I again, so I get to choose different beta readers for different books. So I have different beta readers for Excellence than I have for Lily Hills.
Amazing. Oh, and how
Yes.
many beta readers do you usually have for each of your books?
Usually I have three, sometimes four.
Great.
But again, it's the at least having one man in there to give me feedback. And it's so appreciated when they do.
It's
And
really weird.
um, there are new people coming in and out of our writers group all the time. And
Nice.
so some of them have an incredible background in the written word. And they may be just starting their own author journey, but they are
Right.
really accomplished writers,
Aha.
and they
Well,
may
that
have
makes sense.
never thought about doing a book or an anthology or a memoir or any of those other things before, but now
Right.
they're thinking about it. And so I can request their assistance
Mhm, mhm.
because of their expertise to help me in terms of getting my writing into a really high level professional um, level.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so another thing that you do that you're really one of my very few authors is submit your book for awards. And so can you talk a little bit about that process? Because I know you received a very high level award. I'm so proud of your book, you and your book.
Um, that was also suggested in the WIP summit.
Mhm.
Um, with the timeline of how to develop yourself as an author, how to, do editing, how to get your book in shape, and then applying for awards and even professional reviews to see what people think of the book before you actually publish it. So it gives you time to make changes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to use that feedback to make it even better, make your book even better.
Exactly.
And I do get a lot of feedback from my writers group.
That's wonderful.
And what I really appreciate about being in a writers group, and one of the things that I try to bring to the writers group, is this positive attitude and creating our meetings as a safe space
Oh, that's
for
lovely.
people to share their writing. And I always try to tell them about what they're writing, how their writing touched me, how
Oh,
it made me feel, the things that really, made me think. And
mhm.
then I might tell them, but I kind of missed, descriptions of where they were or what time period they were in or something, a little hint here and there could make all the difference for making the reader, totally enveloped in the story because now they're in that place and time with the characters.
Right.
So, and they do that for me. They
Right.
make me feel safe. They make me feel like I can share anything that I've written, even if it's a rough draft of something I'm just experimenting with. And they will make me feel safe and they will tell me what they like and they will tell me what might be missing.
That's tremendous. And how did you find this writers group? And what is the nuts and bolts of it? Do you meet on Zoom? Do you meet weekly?
We meet weekly on Zoom, and not everybody attends weekly because we do have busy lives, but um, it I looked it up on Google
And
of
is it in
writers
Long
groups
Beach?
in my area, that kind of thing.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
And they also had, um, you know, might not be in Long Beach, but it's in the greater Los Angeles area or the greater Orange County area. They have these groups that are much larger because they're encompassing a bigger area.
Sure,
So
sure.
they have different kinds of events. They have a whole variety of different authors and publishing professionals, like illustrators and cover designers that come to these. And those meetings are usually once a month.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
I can belong to both.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah, it's
I
really
know
great.
in I know in our area there's a group called the Greater Lehigh Valley Writers Group, and they're very same thing, very welcoming and very people kind of come and go. And so that's awesome. I mean, it's amazing to see what a village you have built around you to collaborate on your books, and that's just tremendous. And so one thing that you had mentioned to me that I wanted to touch on is the idea of the author being in control of the book. Is that something that was important to you as you were starting to publish your books?
Um, the the amount of control that I exerted really had a lot to do with whether really I understood what was going on or not.
Okay.
So I would ask a lot of questions. And,
Good. Yeah.
you gave me
Yeah.
examples, and so did my developmental editor gave me examples of, what a review looks like and that kind of thing. So that I could decide, yes, this is what I want,
Hmm.
or no, I think I can do that myself.
Perfect. Perfect.
You know? So the control is based on how much really I understand. And that was why I appreciated you so much in the beginning when you taught me everything, every step, and lots of detail and answered all my questions. It was just made me feel very safe and
Oh,
comfortable.
that means so much to me. Well, I often tell people, you've never done this before. You're trying to learn how to do my job in a few months. I mean, what if I was trying to learn how to use your job? My goodness. I mean, I can barely do anything to do with Excel and math and numbers and all the complicated things you used to do. And so, my hat is always off to my authors who catch on so quickly to what is really can be a pretty complicated process. And so I admire you greatly, Patty. You've worked so hard on your books and you have such a heart to help people. And that's what runs through all of your books. And so, can you share a little bit about your excitement for Lily Hills coming out in a couple of months?
I love Lily Hills. I had the idea for it about 10 years ago, and I started writing it, and I got swamped with work. And then there was the pandemic, and just things were like crazy. But my cousin, who lives in between New Jersey and Florida,
Mhm.
she was feeling kind of dissociated.
Mm.
And so I tried to connect with her a lot, and she loves to read. So I started sending her some of the things I wrote, and she loved the Lily Hill story. And she goes, "Where is the next chapter? Oh, where is it?
It's
I want to
beautiful.
read more." And she made me finish the book. And I I was so happy that she felt so strongly about it. She's a person with um, a very strong connection to the community. She's a rabbi and she has a congregation in New Jersey and in Florida. And, this is something she worked for very hard in her life.
Yeah.
And the story, I mean, she has no experience with the rural the rural environment in any state. She grew up in big cities, but it really captured her about this story of rural Oregon and these two families growing up next to each other after the war. And she just kept wanting to know what's going to happen. What's going to happen next?
There's no greater compliment than that, I think, right? You want to keep turning the page, keep doing this chapter. And both of your books, I think the theme that runs through both of them are, people who are looking for well-written, well-crafted, well-drawn characters, strong female leads, themes like the importance of family and what does it mean to have a family. Like these are powerful books and the environment and so could not recommend them more highly. And we're going to have the links into the description. And so, Patty, thank you so much for taking this time to talk with me. You've been on such an amazing author journey, and I'm so, so pleased to get to hear a little bit more and share. Thank you so much for being a part of this today.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun to talk to you and to encourage other writers to work toward their goals.
Thank you so much. That was so beautifully said. And thank you so much, friends, for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.